Hugh Freeze is definitely on the hot seat headed into Missouri. Would a win versus the Tigers get him off? Welcome on into the Auburn Express, powered by the War Report. I'm your host, Mike G. Turn us up, turn us on, turn it out. It's time to get going. We're getting to Goins. My good friend Jacob Goins, host of On the Line Sports Talk on ESPN 106.7. Joining me to talk a little Auburn football today. Jacob, on today's show, we're going to talk about what this Missouri game means. Hugh Freeze has found himself in some hot water. His team captain has resigned or redshirted or whatever you want to say.
What word were you going to say, Mike?
I struggle with the word quit. I don't like the word quit. But on today's show, we'll talk about what that potentially means for the future of Auburn football. Have the wheels come off the bus, and can they be put back on? Let's start at the top here. Missouri is next up. The Tigers are at home versus the other Tigers from Missouri, and it is another ranked matchup. Opponent for Auburn here. They're going into their fourth straight, Jacob, ranked opponent here. It has been a very, very rough slate for the Tigers. Pulling up the schedule here. You opened SEC play at A&M. They are firmly a top 10 team. Georgia remains in the top 10. Oklahoma they just suffered a loss to Texas in what was kind of like a redemption game for the Longhorns. But you lost that game. It was stolen from you. I will say firmly that game was stolen from you. And now you've got Missouri. And this was a rough stretch of Auburn football, man, from September 20th through what will be October 18th here. You're 0 for 3 right now. And 0 for 4, I have a feeling, will not be looked at great.
Yeah.
John Cohen was not at the press conference on Monday. You and I are normally there. And for our listeners at home, Jacob, he usually sits in the corner right there as you exit to enter the facility. I did not see him. Look, he's a busy man. I'm sure that he had some other commitments, but coming off the eve of a big loss, your third straight SEC loss, I kind of expected him to be there. The fact that he was not, does it mean something here? Are we it seems like there was definitely a shift from what has been unconditional and unequivocal support of this coach after the way Auburn lost to Georgia, putting up only 40 yards of offense in the second half. Look, they got another tough officiating break. It's comical at this point, but that didn't have anything to do with how you came out and responded in the second half. Yeah. And that's where we cannot let anybody off the hook here. At this point, no coaching changes. What changes here versus Missouri that gives fans confidence that there might be a different result on Saturday?
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack with what has happened over the past couple of days, right, since Saturday night, where Auburn lost to Georgia. You had the comments from Hugh Freeze after the game in terms of the officiating and talking about his team not being able to respond in the right way right after the fumble on the goal line. You were supposed to be up 17-0, and then you were up 10-3. Hugh Freeze admitted that his team they couldn't handle it. They could not overcome that, and that falls back on coaching, in my opinion, but that's just what happened. Then you had the Monday presser, right, where the rumors had started to swirl around about Damari Alston. After about the third time being asked about it, Hugh Freeze finally did say that Damari was no longer going to be a part of the team.
Gone.
Gone. Like that relationship is over. And had the choice of words in terms of Damari not meeting team expectations and things, and then went with you and some other folks to clarify that. And now here we are, right? Now we still have a game to talk about, a game to focus on, and Auburn has an opportunity here to get a top 25 win. And as much as this is probably not healthy to think this way, I can't help it but to look at what could have been, right? If Auburn was 5-1 or 4-2 with another home game at night against a Missouri squad that's going on the road, Mike, for the first time this season. Their first road trip of the year is to Auburn, to Jordan-Hare under the lights. Like, the opportunity here could have been massive, but yet the storylines continue to be more about Auburn and how Auburn can get out of its own way, and can it fix things? Is Hugh Freeze on the hot seat? Is he coaching for his job? I mean, I think those are all growing sensations, yes, but it's just unfortunate to see where Auburn is and where they could be with the back end of your schedule, with Missouri at home, Kentucky on that schedule, a fun game against Vanderbilt, Arkansas with whatever they decide to be with Petrino, and then Alabama at home. I mean, you had so many chances for the back end of this schedule to be exciting. And here we are again talking about Coach Hugh Freeze, who may very well be coaching for his job on Saturday against Missouri.
Yeah, look, I just don't know how he's not. The expectations, he said he's okay with expectations because it means that they've given fans something to expect. But what they've come to expect is that in crunch time, Auburn is not going to be able to get it done. Jacob, over the last few weeks, I've had former players from the last couple seasons reach out to me to characterize what the process has been offensively with Hugh Freeze on the Plains. And I got to say, a lot of very unflattering characterizations of the way things are done, how practices run, how the coach's involvement in meetings or non-involvement in meetings. And for the most part, I've stayed quiet about a lot of the feedback that I've gotten from them, understanding that there are two sides to every story, and then there's the truth. So is the truth somewhere in the middle? As we start to see what the results of the process are, it's hard not to think that a lot of the feedback that I've been given is rooted in a lot of truth.
Sure.
Right. And you could debate the how and the why and the when and the who, but you don't have to debate what happened. We are seeing what happened
in front of our eyes. I mean,
result.
you're seeing it happen, and unfortunately, you're seeing a lot of things not happen, which is winning football for 4 quarters and then pulling out a win. And look, I know that he talked about on Monday how his team continues, or maybe this was actually Saturday night in the postgame presser. He says that we continue to find ways to not win football games, and it's like, man, let's just call it like it is. You're finding ways to lose football games. You're not winning, you're losing these games. And the first 2 years of any coach's regime at any place, at any sport, there's not a whole lot of room for accountability, or I guess criticism is a better word there. There's not a whole lot of room for criticism because you're waiting to see how everything's going to play out. You're waiting to see what their process is, what their tendencies are, what their strategies are, what their game plans are, and then eventually what the execution of their team and their coaching staff is. But we've talked about it even back in the summer. Year 3 is that year. Nobody was demanding a national championship this year. Nobody was demanding an SEC title. Heck, people weren't even demanding a college football playoff. They were just demanding a better team, a better performance, and to have a little bit of hope and positivity and signs of life in this program. And that just hasn't happened halfway through year 3. And so I'm with you. I think the closer we get to Saturday, the more that I think that Hugh Freeze is coaching for his job against Missouri. And if it goes the way that all these other games have gone, I don't know if that's better or not. If it's a 1-score game, 10-point game where you're in it the whole way and then crumble down the stretch, I don't know if that's better than just getting full blown out in your stadium or what. I don't know. I think a loss is a loss at this point. And I think you are coaching for your job if you're Hugh Freeze this Saturday.
Missouri brings in the number 1 rushing attack in the conference on Saturday, 270 yards per game through the air. The Missouri Tigers, it has been a little middling, right? 240 yards per game through the air. But overall, offensively, Missouri firmly in the top 4 in the conference at 510 yards per game. Auburn, the second worst offense in the conference at only 331.3 yards per game through 6 games. So, look, man, the numbers aren't good. But we are at that point in the season where the averages are the averages. So this is who you are. And It doesn't mean that Auburn can have an outlier performance here on Saturday where they explode offensively. I mean, we saw it in the first half versus Georgia. There weren't a ton of drives, but they were sustaining drives. And I mean, look, I can't. Two things can be true at once. Auburn is both offensively inept, and they are also being robbed. A touchdown stolen from them again for a third week straight in these 1-2 score games is just absolutely brutal. But I think it should have been called a touchdown on the field. And the fact that they did not call it a touchdown and then went back and looked at the tape and said that he didn't break the plane, I'm incredulous at that. I am. But it is what happened. And here's where reality has to hit fans. Even if you go into the half up 17-0, which is likely what happens if Auburn scores that touchdown, there is no guarantee that they don't still blow it in the second half if you're only going to put up 40 yards of offense. So
exactly.
You didn't score a point in the second half. And Georgia absolutely came out and got to 20. So would they have lost 17-20? Like, I mean, we don't know. What I do know is that unless something changes, nothing is going to change. And that has been consistent. Before we get to the break here, that has consistently been my question: is what is going to change, right? What does accountability look like? I asked him that after the game. What does accountability look like for you? He said, get in here on Monday and get it fixed. Now, I know what he means, but in my head, I was like, Monday? You're going to wait till Monday, buddy?
Yeah. The problem is we've heard that, though, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's all we've heard is come in and work more and do this and do that and have meetings and make adjustments. I mean, Mike, that was the offensive performance out of a bye week. That was the reevaluated offense and the repurposed offense. And it's like, okay, you had 2.5 scripted drives in the first half. That's it. You had nothing in the second half, and then you went away what was successful in the first half and just abandoned it in the second half before you even saw what the adjustments were for Georgia, knowing they were going to make some, sure. But Auburn, I don't know, man. I refuse to believe it's this hard, but maybe it is, and they just can't figure it out.
Yeah, look, it's got to change, right? In the second half of the show here, Jacob, I want to talk about what happens if nothing changes. If it is a fifth straight game, I guess, of what we fourth straight game of what we've seen. What is the likely outcome? Will pink slips be ready at the end of the game? Or could Auburn be facing a situation where it's like, we're not even going to let you get back on the bus? We'll talk about that right after our quick word from our sponsors, our friends at The Rogue Shop. Visit rogueshop.com. Use code REPORTER. Get 15% off your Rogue Shop order. Pain, sleep, stress, anxiety, whatever ails you in the life, The Rogue Shop could have something that has you covered. Our guy, Richard, longtime sponsor of the show. We appreciate him for sponsoring this segment. If you've got some traditional ailments that could require some non-traditional remedies, The Rogue Shop could have the answer for you. So visit rogueshop.com. Again, punch in code REPORT. They're dropping a little something extra special in there for everybody using code REPORT today. Also want to thank our friends at the Vibe Vault. You can find them at 3462 Crosswinds Road, Suite E in Phoenix City, Alabama. If you're in the Columbus, Phoenix City area and you're looking to get fresh for the weekend, visit them. They are serving up fresh cuts for the community. I appreciate my guy Steve Watkins for sponsoring this segment right there on Highway 431 across the street from Chattahoochee Valley Community College, next to the Renfro Supermarket and the Marco's Pizza. The Vibe Vault, not just barbers, lifestyle consultants. Also want to thank our friends at setsforsociety.ai. The road to knowing self starts at Sets for Society. If you are looking to maybe understand how you think, how those around you think, and how you guys can best think together to achieve like goals, Sets for Society has a solution for you. They have custom personality assessments that can get you started down the road to knowing yourself and those around you better. Visit setsforsociety.ai today to get your assessment started. Just fill out the form. They reach out and do the rest. We appreciate them for sponsoring this segment. Also want to thank our friends at Sky Tobacco and Vape. Need a smoke shop that's always close by? Sky Tobacco and Vape has you covered all over Columbus and even across the bridge in Phoenix City. Whether you're cruising down Airport Thruway, rolling along Victory Drive, or making a pit stop on the bypass, they've got a spot ready for you. From vapes tobacco, and everything in between. Sky Tobacco and Vape is your one-stop shop for good vibes and great deals. Swing through today. Chances are they are already on your way. Jacob, Saturday offense, they've got to do something. You are running out of options. Now, I will tell you, I have done my research and my digging. It feels very unlikely that we see Deuce Knight at this juncture.
Yeah.
So if there were to be a quarterback change, looking for a spark, then Ashton Daniels would be the next guy up at this point. I don't think he's played a single snap so far this season.
Not that I can remember. And Freeze said it too on Monday because somebody asked him about it if there was going to be a change, and he said no. Jackson's starting on Saturday against Missouri, and I don't know, man. I don't know if Jackson is the main reason. He hasn't been great. I think we can all kind of admit that Jackson Arnold has not been what you needed him to be, but it's also because of the system that he's in and the lack of production and the game planning and things too. I don't think you can just look at this and say, yep, Jackson Arnold's the reason. If you change him, everything will be fine. How often is that really the solution, right? But maybe that is what it takes, is a quarterback change. I don't know. I think you need to throw the playbook in the trash can and start from beginning. I think you could do that and just be like, okay, whatever we think is going to work, let's throw that away because it's not working, and let's try to do something different. They won't, but that's what they should do, in my opinion.
Yeah, the willingness to go down with this offensive methodology is baffling to me, right?
Yes.
I just don't. It's clearly not working. And for the first 2 years, what we heard was talent. We need to close the talent gap, and we need players who can go out. And he said this. There's a belief by this coach, and I think subsequently his staff, that you do need guys who can just go and win one-on-one matchups. But you also need a system that creates a disparity between you and your opponent.
Yes. So give yourself a chance.
Yes. Yeah. So that when you have a guy, maybe a not favorable matchup physically between two players, the system is creating the gaps, the space, and I don't think the system has been picking up. It's picking up it's part of the tap.
Yeah.
Quite honestly. Right. I don't know, Jacob. It's like going on a date where you agree to split the bill 50-50 before the date, and then somebody forgets their wallet.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, oh, that's convenient, right?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So,
and you're right. I mean, if you continue to do the same things over and over and over again and just expect it to work out and change and get a different result, right? Isn't that insanity or something? Isn't that what they call that? I think stupidity, in my opinion. But you look ahead, right? And it's like, okay, and let's have this real conversation too. I know we're up against time, but let's have this conversation too. Let's say Auburn wins this weekend. Let's say Auburn beats Missouri on Saturday by whatever the score is, 24-20 or 31-25, whatever, I don't know. Whatever the score is, let's just say Auburn wins. Does that solve everything? Does that fix all the problems? Are we as Auburn people, whether we're media or fans or alumni or donors or John Cohen, do we look at a victory this Saturday against that Missouri team, who's good but not great, in my opinion? Does a win this Saturday just fix everything? Is it just the solution to all of our problems? And it's like, all right, cool. Hugh Freeze is the guy. Everything's okay. Let's look past all the issues we've had. I don't believe that, Mike. I think it's a good start, and I would love to see Auburn win. But a win against Missouri and then Kentucky or Arkansas, like that doesn't make up for what has already happened. But if you get hot, Missouri, then Arkansas, Kentucky, Vanderbilt, Mercer, Alabama. You rip off all those wins in a row, including the Iron Bowl, then we have a conversation. But you've set yourself so far behind already that I think winning out is just about the only way to get the fan base back, in my opinion.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I feel about it.
If you win out, you're 9-3 team. And while it might not be the preferred route to 9-3, you're still 9-3, and you there's no way you win the next 6 in a row without some serious momentum. Like Auburn's not going to accidentally win 6 in a row.
No,
not the way things have been going for this team.
Right.
If they win 6 in a row, it's because they fixed something and it looks a lot better offensively.
Mm-hmm.
But on the flip side, again, you pose a great question. What does a win versus Missouri fix for you? Well, if you're Hugh Freeze, it buys you another week. Because as far as I'm concerned, this thing he is on a week-to-week lease here.
Yeah, I think that's true.
And the leaseholder is standing there with determination, ready every single week. But the pressure that it puts on you is there is no longer room for an inexplicable loss. And that inexplicable loss would still be Arkansas and Kentucky, I think, right? Like, you can't lose to either one of those teams. So,
and expect to keep your job. Yeah.
I mean, look, Arkansas's already fired their coach midseason. Kentucky is definitely the worst team in the SEC. If you lose to them, you are the worst team in the SEC. I can't stress that enough. So you beat Missouri, and then you maybe beat Arkansas and Kentucky, and suddenly you're on a 3-game winning streak.
Yeah.
Right. And now you're sitting here at 6-3, and you've got a chance to beat what could be a top 10 Vanderbilt at that point, right?
Yeah.
And so that does change the math. You beat them, you're 7-3, and then you whatever happens over the last 2 games, you beat Mercer. I mean, if you get to 7-3, you're going to be an 8-win team at least. A lot of people felt like that should have been the floor for this team.
And bare minimum, bare minimum.
And then you overachieve at 9 wins, beating Alabama in the Iron Bowl. But again, that in that scenario, you just won out the back half of your schedule and gone on a serious run.
With 3 ranked wins in there.
Yeah. I just don't know what they're going to do differently to produce that sort of result at this point.
No.
If you're not going to change coaching, you're not going to change quarterback. You're just expecting it to be better because, and you're not changing philosophy. For 2 weeks, with a bye in there, we were told we're going to get back to running the football.
Yeah.
Only for your quarterback to be your leader in terms of carries. And
terrible.
Jeremiah Cobb barely breaking double-digit carries. And the guy who started your season as your RB1 saying, I'm out. I'm done. Not good, Mike. They've got to figure out how to do something here. I mean, Missouri is when you look at what they are, where they rank defensively, Jacob, they bring in yards per game the second best defense in the conference here for and going up against the second worst offense in the conference. In terms of yards produced. So there's a very tough hill, I think, for Hugh Freeze to climb this Saturday versus Missouri. We'll see if he can do it. Jacob Goins, I want to thank you for joining me today. Look, man, wasn't super positive. I wish we had more positive things to talk about, but it really does feel like it's do or die time here. Saturday, and we'll see how it plays out. I'll be adjourned here. Before we get out of here, man, as always, tell people where they can find you.
Yeah, you can tune in Monday through Friday on ESPN 106.7 if you are in Auburn, Opelika, or if you're not, you can tune in ESPNAU.com. We're on the air each and every weekday from 2 to 4 p.m.
Guys, we want to hear from you. Hit the comment section. Let us know what you think. Is he coaching for his job this weekend? Will an Auburn loss trigger a trap card? Are they done? Are they done if he loses? I know it's not what you want to talk about, but it's what we got to talk about. So we want to hear from you. I want to thank our friends at Abel's Iron Moore and Associates for sponsoring this segment. If you're a small business owner, you got a lot on your plate, growing the business, taking care of employees, and usually what suffers the most are your personal assets. At Abel's Iron Moore and Associates, their fiduciary advisors are a resource for business owners to make sure their personal assets are getting the same required attention that they give their business every day. Call AIMA at 912-777-4128. Scan the QR code on the screen or visit aiminc.com to schedule your initial consultation today. The War Report has been compensated by Abel's Iron Moore and Associates for this endorsement. AIMA is an SEC registered investment advisor. Registration as an investment advisor does not imply a certain level of skill or training. All investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal, and past performance is not indicative of future results. As I mentioned, hit the comment section. Let us know what you think, guys. And while you're there, do us a favor, smash that super thanks button. Your financial support helps keep the work that we're doing here going. Please hit like and subscribe. We are the War Report on every social media platform. TW Report on TikTok. We're signing off, and as always, War Eagle.